Welcome to our new studio and Campfire discussions. And so I am not painting tonight because I have too many things to talk about, too many notes to refer to. And we're in our new studio. It's not perfect yet, so thought I would make it as easy as possible tonight. So you're probably guessing what I'm talking about and taking a little break from all the sadness that's happening to our kids and all the craziness that we're trying to fight against. And we're going to talk about what everyone's been talking about, and that is the Depp versus Heard trial and why it's important, first of all, why this verdict means something to a lot of people, and so on and so forth. So, yes, I know. There are two Hollywood people that are nothing like the rest of us, except for the fact that Johnny Depp is a man who has been falsely accused, and I think he's proven that, and a jury has found that, and has suffered 6 years of guilty before innocence in the court of public opinion. He has suffered with millions and millions of dollars of loss. He's lost jobs. He's lost the Pirates of the Caribbean job, which he made that movie, and no one can change my mind about that. There's a lot of things that Johnny Depp has lost because of the word of a woman. And unfortunately, the Me Too movement that started out so well-intentioned, and I fully believed in it, has morphed into something darker, something much more problematic. And it's morphed into, we believe all women no matter what, and there needs to be more there. So there's a lot to say tonight. I'm trying to organize my thoughts here because I really did a lot of research. I mean, I paid a lot of attention to what was happening in this trial because I am probably like a lot of people, didn't really have an opinion either way when we started this trial here, the 2022 trial. I never saw the UK trial. I had heard Johnny Depp's name brought up during the whole Me Too movement craziness. I had heard all the stuff going on there, but I hadn't really taken it into, it hadn't really set in my brain, I guess you could say. It didn't really, it wasn't something that really dominated my life. So when this trial started, I didn't even start watching it until I started seeing like those reels on Facebook, those short little videos, and people laughing at Amber Heard's facial expressions, and then finding out that she crapped on his bed. And then I was kind of hooked on the situation. Now, there's other things that have happened in my life, or in friends and family's lives, that connect to this case as well. I have seen in this Me Too movement a lot of men lose everything because of the word of a woman. And the concept of believe all women comes from a good place. It comes from a place of there was a time when women wouldn't be believed no matter what they said about sexual abuse or sexual harassment, if you per se. But now this believe all women has gone too far. So we went from over here to over here, kind of like a lot of the things happening in our world right now. And now this trial has kind of opened our eyes to say men can be victims too, and maybe we should believe victims, but also do our due diligence to make sure that we're not accusing people of being guilty before proven innocent. It needs to be the other way around. Innocent before proven guilty. Take these things seriously. Do the due diligence to find out if they're truthful or not. But we can't continue to the public opinion cannot be guilty immediately just because of kind of accusations that are placed. Because it seems to me that because of that, there's a lot of women out there claiming or making false accusations because they know that it's automatically going to skew something positively in their direction. Now, we've seen a lot of craziness going on in this trial. I have a few pictures, but my favorite one is this meme I found last night. And it says, "This is a day you will always remember as the day you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow." And there's a lot of variations of this, but it's really, really cute. And there's one that says, "This is the day you'll always remember that you almost framed Captain Jack Sparrow," which is what this felt like, was a frame job. And for those of you that paid attention, I'd love to know your thoughts on her witnesses versus his witnesses. Because to me, there seemed to be quite a different there's quite a different spectrum of witnesses. Her witnesses seem to be a little bit more weird and flaky and willing to lie. They even have a video of Elaine, one of Amber Heard's lawyers, talking to that crazy doctor that made all the faces, out, like, you know, behind the lawyers where the crowd was. She was like talking to him, telling him it was okay to lie. And there's a video like going all over the internet right now about that. So it seems like her witnesses were a little bit less trustworthy, and Johnny Depp's, just the caliber of witnesses he had was better. And there's a few comments on here. Kelly Dowling says, "Hi, sweetie, I'm coming on." Good. Hi, Dorinda. Someone said, "I agree. I heard that Amber is going to appeal it. Unbelievable." Well, did we really think that she was going to do any different? Wait till I read the statements from Amber Heard after the trial, which she made a statement like 5 minutes after the verdict, whereas Johnny Depp took his time to make a statement after the verdict. People thought he might not make a statement. There's a big difference in their statements, and I'm going to read them tonight, and I would love to hear your opinions. Somebody said, "It's because Amber is broke. She's not going to pay a single dime, but she doesn't want to liquidate her assets, so she's going to appeal." Well, for Johnny Depp, I don't believe this had anything to do with the money. I think this had nothing to do with money. This had everything to do with a man who was sitting under the weight of false accusations for 6 years and finally wanted to clear the air. And he knew that it was going to bring some heat on him, and he knew it was going to show some pretty gnarly things about himself to the public, but it was better than being accused of some egregious things and falsely accused of some egregious things. And we've come to that conclusion. The jury came to that conclusion. They proved pictures that she had up there were the same picture. They were just photoshopped. They proved that Johnny Depp had pictures that were taken not only by the person on that ship that they were on, or the train, or whatever it was, the Orient Express, but also his friend had taken a picture from his phone. They were the same. He had the same black eye. It wasn't photoshopped. So there's a lot of evidence in this trial. And it's funny because Amber Heard says there's a lot of evidence to support her claims. But in reality, if you look at everything, there's very little evidence to support her claims, if any. So it's pretty interesting. I also heard today that the ACLU is planning to sue Johnny Depp for $86,000. Now, how petty is that? Personally, ACLU should be crawling into a hole and should be ashamed of themselves for participating in this, considering it came out that the ACLU helped write this article that was in question on the Washington Post. The ACLU helped all this. They made Amber an ambassador, even though most of the money she pledged, which she claims to be the same as donating, which we found is not the same. But she didn't even pay, I think, 25% of it. And all the money that was paid to them, well, most of the money that was paid to them didn't even come from Amber Heard herself. It came from like Elon Musk and Johnny Depp himself. So ACLU suing Johnny Depp, and their claim is that they're suing him for, sorry, I had to get my notes back up here for that so I don't misquote it. So they're suing him to cover fees for 4 legal experts and court documents that they provided for this court case. Okay. They need to just let it go. Now, I'm sure Johnny Depp will end up paying it because whatever. It's not that big a deal, but are they serious? I mean, I'd love to know what you guys think about that. You'd think ACLU would be like, okay, we're done. We need to be quiet for a little while. This has harmed us quite a bit. I don't know, ma'am. Her witnesses, someone said her witnesses, her sister especially, was lying. Yeah, there's a lot of video of Whitney. I guess her name is Hernandez, but Whitney Heard, Amber Heard's sister, on the stand. She really looked rough. And she also looked like she was speaking on behalf of Amber because she was threatened by Amber. There's a lot of evidence to show that even Whitney believed that Johnny was the victim and Amber was the abuser in this relationship. She even told her former boss that she was afraid Amber was going to kill Johnny. Yet she's willing to lie for her sister on the stand. And you could see there's videos out there too of her just looking at Camille from behind when Camille's questioning Amber or cross-examining Amber. And if looks could kill, man, this girl, she has the worst unhappy face I've ever seen. Just like Amber, her sad face is so like, it's like there's a new filter on some of these apps and it makes you look like you're crying. That's how Amber's face looked a lot. I have a picture on there somewhere of like this meme showing Amber going to sim acting school, and I thought that was really funny. Yeah, she went to the school of Sims acting. And then when Amber Heard's lawyer, Mr. Rottenborn, asked Johnny Depp, "Did you see what happened when you left?" I wasn't there after I left. That was something that was actually said in the trial, which I found really funny. Anyway, so I wanted to tell you this real quick, and then we'll go to our first little advertisement, which hopefully they work tonight. I think they are. So the psychological effects of false accusations in a relationship often include guilt when we're innocent. A 2013 study shows that innocent guilt happens because one feels guilty despite being innocent. That's why often false accusations destroy relationships, because they are emotionally painful to deal with. And a lot of people won't go through the lengths Johnny Depp went through because, for one, it costs a lot of money. For two, they just want it to go away. They'd rather run away from it than fight it. And I have to tell you, fight it. Like, regardless of anything else, fight it, because you deserve to have your story told. You deserve to have the truth be out there. And Amber really, she stepped in it this time. So we have a lot of events coming up in our small town. And one of the things we love to do when we have events is get flyers made and stickers made and signs made. And the best place to go around here is Whitney Signs. They're pretty incredible. They're amazing people. We love them to death. They do a lot for somebody says it's called Rusting Bitch Face. Yes. They do a lot for the community. They travel all around, and they are just the best kind of people. So check out their video, Whitney Signs. So I saw a comment on here that I found interesting. I can't believe how much media this case got. I can, because I think people are finally done with the way of the world right now. We're ready to see some real justice. We're ready to see some people get what's coming to them. So I can believe that. And they said, how much does this cost us, the taxpayers? This was a civil case. It's a defamation case, which means it cost the people in it money. Now the judge, yeah, but the judge would be working either way. So I don't think that's the way I would look at it, to be honest. I think the real winners here in this case were the lawyers, because they made a crap ton of money. But also Johnny Depp for sure. So I wanted to go into a little bit of some other stuff about the Me Too movement. Before I do that, I told you guys that I was going to tell you about Amber Heard and Johnny Depp's statements after this verdict. So I'm going to start with Amber Heard's. Okay, so Amber Heard's statement after the verdict, I'm going to read it, and then we're going to read Johnny Depp's, and then I want to see what your comments are about the difference between the two. So Amber Heard's statement after the verdict. The disappointment I feel today is beyond words. I am heartbroken that the mountain of evidence still was not enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband. I'm even more disappointed with what this verdict means for other women. It is a setback. It sets back the clock to a time when a woman who spoke up and spoke out could be publicly shamed and humiliated. It sets back the idea of violence against women is to be taken seriously. I believe Johnny's attorneys succeeded in getting the jury to overlook the key issue of freedom of speech and ignore evidence that was so conclusive that we won in the UK. Don't get me started on that. I'm sad I lost this case, but I am sadder still that I seem to have lost a right I thought I had as an American to speak freely and openly. Okay, before I go to Johnny's, real quick. No, Amber, this is not a setback because of the verdict. The only thing that has set women back is women like you. Women like you who make false accusations and jump on a bandwagon where real victims have to work harder to make themselves believed. Where real victims, like the man you've put these allegations against, have to spend 6 years under the weight of those allegations. So don't even say that this verdict set women back, because you are the one that set women back. Now here's Johnny Depp's statement. Johnny Depp says, 6 years ago, my life, the life of my children, the lives of those closest to me, and also the lives of people who for many, many years have supported and believed in me were forever changed, all in the blink of an eye. False, very serious, and criminal allegations were levied at me via the media, which triggered an endless barrage of hateful content, although no charges were ever brought against me. That's very important, by the way. It had already traveled around the world twice within a nanosecond, and it had a seismic impact on my life and my career. And 6 years later, the jury gave me my life back. I am truly humbled. My decision to pursue this case, knowing very well the height of the legal hurdles that I would be facing and the inevitable worldwide spectacle into my life, was only made after considerable thought. From the very beginning, the goal of bringing this case was to reveal the truth, regardless of the outcome. Speaking the truth was something that I owed to my children and to all those who have remained steadfast in their support of me. I feel at peace knowing I have finally accomplished that. I am and have been overwhelmed by the outpouring of love and the colossal support and kindness from around the world. I hope that my quest to have the truth be told will have helped others, men or women, who have found themselves in my situation, and that those supporting them never give up. I also hope that the position will now return to innocent until proven guilty, both within the courts and within the media. I wish to acknowledge the noble sacrifice and the work of the judge, the jurors, the court staff, and the sheriffs who have sacrificed their own time to get to this point, and to my diligent and unwavering legal team, who did an extraordinary job in helping me share the truth. The best is yet to come, and a new chapter has finally begun. Veritas numquam perit, truth never perishes. Now, man, oh man, is that a difference in statements. And that's not just because one of them won and one of them didn't. And yeah, sure, Amber Heard got a $2 million thing against Johnny in this, but it was more against his lawyer, and they decided that his lawyer was speaking for him. But Johnny won, clearly. And Amber and Johnny could not be more different. Some of your comments says, you have the freedom to speak free. Just be willing to pay the price if you abuse that right. Exactly. Her Twitter is locked so everybody can see it, but only her chosen people can comment. That sounds about like Amber. You're exactly right, Brandy. She is not a victim. Johnny is a victim. I hate when people play victims. Yes, this is a common problem. Like I said, this is a huge, huge, huge problem now. So Johnny Depp's lawyer said in their closing statement, Amber's lies upon lies caused irreparable harm to real abuse survivors. Johnny Depp's attorneys say in closing arguments, as their lawyers argue she's being victim blamed. I agree with his lawyers. And can we talk about Camille Vasquez? There's a picture of her and Johnny in this. She was incredible, you guys. I think she's never going to need to search for work again. Wow, she was great. I mean, all his lawyers were good. Ben Chu was great, but Camille specifically was incredible. She did not let Amber get away with a thing. So yeah, there's so many opinions on this, and this is a lot to talk about and a lot to unpack. But like Johnny said, we need to go back to innocent before guilty in courts and in the media. The media is so big on jumping on the bandwagon and criminalizing and destroying people's careers and destroying people in general without any shred of evidence, without any due diligence. They need to go back to doing their actual jobs. I saw some Hollywood reactions to this, and an ex of Kanye, I think it's that girl he dated for a couple weeks. She's a model after Kim, and he only had a short little thing with her. But she said that hitting your partner isn't abuse if they are more powerful than you or they have more influence than you. That's bullshit. Insinuating that if you hit your partner, but if they have more power, that it's not abuse, that's absurd. That is not truth, okay? Saying that this man has more influence and he can sway a jury, so therefore this jury's verdict isn't real, is also absurd. There is no male privilege in here. There is no white privilege in here. There's no privilege in here. If you're hit by your partner, it's abuse. That's it. You feel like they're more powerful. That's a feeling. That's not a reality. Especially if you're the one beating up on them. So I'm sorry, that's why this whole believe all women came to be, was that they assumed that women are less powerful than men, and that's not the case. Somebody said some people lie thinking they can abuse the system. However, the truth always comes out and the bill will come due by those who try to cheat it. Yes, I firmly believe that. That's why I tell those who are going through this to keep fighting and not run away from it, because eventually that truth is going to come out and that person will pay for what they're doing to you. Destroying people in the media is profitable. Yep, that's true. I agree with Johnny on that one. Two, hitting is abuse regardless. Exactly. Sounds like you guys agree with me. I know there's a lot of different opinions on this situation. It's really sad that I have to say this, but men can be victims too. Not just women, men can be victims too. And I've seen that in my lifetime, that's very common for men to be victims, and it's even more common for them not to speak out. All right. There's Biden for you. He is a victim, okay, in a different way. But he is a victim of this system right now because they're using him to do their dirty work and their dirty deeds. My thing is, we've allowed the Me Too movement, a movement that started to help victims. We've allowed it to morph into a movement that destroys men no matter what. That's why this trial was so important and was so all over the place. Was because people are starting to realize some of these movements are doing more damage than good, and that we need to find a balance. Why should we believe all women instead of believe victims, but also make sure that these are truthful allegations and these are real? There's a well, thank you. Sorry, you guys. I know I'm huffing and puffing a little bit. I'm not feeling too great. I'm a little under the weather, so if my voice is a little weird or I sound like I'm taking a lot of breaths, that's why. Apparently, Joel isn't feeling too great either. I don't know if you guys heard that. Alan Dershowitz said, generally...
Sorry, the sound still travels through here.
Yeah, we haven't fixed that yet.
Working on it.
Generally, movements have pendulum swings, and the pendulum has now swung in the direction of everyone's guilty, and don't you dare assert your innocence. And I'm going to tell you a few stories about some men that were falsely accused and how it affected them. One of them is a man, Alan Dershowitz, that has a lot of power and a lot of esteem. And one of them is a man that is kind of like an everyday Joe. And their stories are incredible. And yes, it does require a little bit of reading on my end. But, I think these are important stories to hear. So this article I read was titled "The Dark Side of the Me Too Movement and What Happens When Men Are Falsely Accused." And the author said, "It can be easy to dismiss these concerns, as many people have. They say that we must believe all women no matter what. They say it's a joke that men are afraid because they have more power. They say that if men don't do any wrong, they have nothing to worry about," which we all know that's not true. We've seen, I'm sure every one of you has witnessed somebody that you know be falsely accused of something and then see them have to fight and claw their way back. They say we should check their male privilege. Okay. They point out repeatedly that false reports only make up 2% of the claims. And they say that when false allegations do happen, the cost of those careers and reputations is a price they're willing to pay in favor of the movement. Now, that's disgusting to me. Why should anyone have to lose their careers and their reputations in order to move forward a movement? That's like saying we don't care about the negative. We just want, we're willing to sacrifice these people for our movement to continue and to make money and to continue to move forward. That is horrible. That's awful to me. This lady says that when she was a young professional, she was raped by a coworker and no one believed her. She shared this because over a decade later, when the Me Too movement happened, she was completely in favor of it, and she was horrified at the number of stories that were shared. And a year after the movement started, she mustered up the courage to share her story for the first time. This was really transformative for her. I will say, in my own experience, I've had that same experience. Clearly, this was a long time ago in my past. My husband is a wonderful human being and has brought me through all the negative crap that I suffered, but I had been in a relationship in the past that was very, very bad. And the Me Too movement was also very empowering to me. I felt that it was amazing in the beginning. So I think a lot of women who have been through that and have not spoken up and have not said anything feel that feeling. But the Me Too movement has been a very positive movement, changing the way workers interact in office, changing the way women interact with men, the way supervisors treat their employees, and all that, and misconduct and sexual harassment and all that stuff. But there has to be a balance. And in the wake of the movement came stories of men who were afraid that they might be falsely accused. Not long after this lady told her story on Twitter, a Morning Consult poll showed that 57% of U.S. adults were equally concerned for young women and the harassment they can face as they were for young men and false allegations they could face. So there are stories that have come out showing about 60% of men are afraid to mentor women at work. They're afraid to work with women. They're afraid to do any of this stuff because of these false allegations. Now I'm going to go to questions and then I will come back. She will always remember the day she almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow. Yep. He loves smelling Heard's crap. Ew! Ugh! Was that LOL was for Brandon's picture. I can't always believe all women who play victims. #he too. Yeah, I like that. I mean, that's true. So back to these percentages and these stories. It's easy to dismiss these concerns because most people have, and they continue to believe, we must believe all women. They say, oh, well, men are afraid. Who cares? They have the power. They have male privilege. Well, we need to start talking about these stories and start finding out that maybe we've gone too far. So there's a lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, which I read a quote from earlier. He's pretty famous. He has been accused of rape and being lumped in with Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein. And he wrote a book called Guilt by Association, The Challenge of Proving Innocence in the Age of Me Too. His case is interesting because it started before the Me Too movement and continues today. When he asked if he noticed a difference between the perception before and after, he said it was very noticeable. This is his quote. "There's no question. Before the Me Too movement, I had won. I had gone away. I had the submission. I had the tapes, the recordings, the emails. I had a full investigation by the former head of the FBI who said it was false. I had a judge who struck it down, and lawyers had withdrawn it. It was over. It was completely over. And then the Me Too movement came, and suddenly it was resurrected." He went on to describe the difficulty of making his case in the court of public opinion when the standard is to believe all women. If you call women a liar, even if you didn't do what you're accused of, you're guilty of calling the woman a liar. So there's no way out. If you call a woman a liar, and you didn't do it, there's no way out, right? If you don't deny it, then you're thought to be guilty. If you do deny it, then you've committed an additional sin, so it's a trap, and it feels horrible. They either assume your guilt, or they assume you shouldn't be asserting your innocence. And this is exactly what I'm talking about with this movement. These men who are being accused of these actions, these horrendous things. I mean, accusing someone of sexual harassment, sexual battery, abuse, or anything abuse or sexual abuse of a child. These are accusations that seem impossible to come out from under, because even if you prove your innocence, that's still over your head. So a lot of people just give up and say, screw it, I'm just going to start my life over, forget about all these people, and move on. But that's not the right way to handle it. We need to start fighting back and start doing more to ensure innocence before guilt. This Dershowitz went on to describe the challenges he faced in being accused, including the financial cost and the impact on his family. He can say, one can understand why it may be difficult to think of this man as a victim given his status and resources. But why? Why is it that when you have high status and high resources, you can't possibly be a victim? That's something to think about. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. But I also have a story about this average guy who went from Mike Tunison, was a successful freelance writer. He worked for the Washington Post. Oh, we know the Washington Post because of lovely Amber Heard. Had a book published and was the editor of a successful website. But today he works on the janitorial staff of Dave & Buster's. How did he get there? Well, in October 2017, he was added to Shitty Media Men List, a Google Doc that was collecting allegations, of misconduct from anonymous, unvetted sources. So basically, anyone can write whatever the hell they want on this document, and they would blast these people without any vetting, without any research, without any need to even show who you personally are. Tunison was accused by someone he doesn't even know of stalking, harassment. He doesn't even know who this person is, by the way. Stalking, harassment, and physical intimidation, and asserted that they had filed a complaint with Human Resources at the Washington Post. But Tunison said he checked with HR, and they had nothing on file. So this was completely made up out of the blue to destroy this man with no proof. There was nothing with HR. This Google Doc site, didn't even look into if HR was notified or there was even a complaint. The only thing in his file was that he was forced to resign from the Post because he was writing crass sports blog. But it had nothing to do with intimidation, any of the stuff that was being posted about him. So his girlfriend at the time found the list. That's how he found out about it. And luckily, she messaged him, said, we need to talk. She was very understanding. She listened to his story. But he had a lot of friends that didn't. He had a lot of people in his life that didn't believe him. But then he had a lot of people that did. After he was accused, his freelance work dried up. He's quick to say that this list didn't play the whole role. It was just a factor in what happened to him. But the difference between this guy and the other guy is he said he's willing to take the fall in order to push the Me Too movement forward. Now, why do you think he would say that? I don't think it's so honorable. I don't think it's an honorable reason. I think he was afraid to fight it. I think he was afraid, and this is my personal opinion, but I think he was afraid to go up against the machine and fight it. Now, we got to take another break, and then I'll get to some of your comments. So, A great place to eat some awesome food, we all know, is the Hitchin Post here in town. If you're in Estacada or anywhere in a 100-mile radius, it's worth the drive, even if you're further than that. Hitchin Post Pizza is my favorite pizza I've ever had, and I've been to a lot of places all over this country, and I think they're amazing. They also, not only do they have amazing food, they have amazing people, and if you're local, they're looking for workers that can do a really good job. So check out this video of Hitchin Post Pizza, and we'll see you in a sec. Okay, sorry, I was reading your comments, so these are pretty good. Somebody put hashtag me poo. If you don't know, if you haven't been watching, apparently Amber Heard, and that's why she's called Amber Turd, took a number 2 on Johnny's pillow, and you can even see in the, if you look up the hotel records and the court records, it's listed as one of the things that they had to clean up was defecation on the bed, which is really gross, you guys. Someone else said, well, everything in this trial is sad. It is. You can't discount the great memes that have risen from the case. Ain't that the truth? We have some pictures that we should show. They're not all memes, but there's some really good pictures up there. So if Joel pops them up, we'll talk about them. Like this one. We all know Mr. Rottenborn would object to anything Johnny Depp would say, even if he breathed wrong. And I love this contrast. The first day of the trial, doesn't Johnny look like he is just struggling under the weight of the last 6 years? And then at the end of the trial, he looks like he doesn't care what the verdict is. He got his truth out there, and people know the real story. And that is pretty powerful stuff. Somebody said, where is all the rum? She took the rum. Yeah, if you've watched Captain Jack Sparrow, you know where that comes from. But why is all the rum gone? Male and females all have boundaries. We all should use it. Yep, that's true. Very, very true. I thought women can do everything men could do. Doesn't that mean they're responsible in the same ways? It should. It should mean that. There is no power struggle anymore. Men and women are more equal than they've ever been. So there should not be this guilt before innocence concept anymore on men. We need to stop demonizing men and start lifting them up too. Because this movement, to me, feels more like we need to push men down so that we can rise instead of rising up to meet each other. That's just my own personal opinion. Somebody said my ex-sister-in-law is an Amber Heard, and unfortunately her lawyer was just as bad. My brother needs Camille Vasquez. Like I said, Camille, man, and I'm sorry your sister-in-law is like that. That is awful. Or your ex-sister-in-law, that is just awful. I mean, I personally know an Amber Heard, not in my life anymore, but I do know an Amber Heard-like person, and they are just awful and relentless and do not care what the truth is. Their concept is, give me what I want, no matter what, and I will destroy whoever's in my path, and that is disgusting behavior. And Camille Vasquez, man, was she a badass. She was awesome. She did not let up, and she knew that her client, Johnny Depp, was innocent, and she knew what Amber Heard was up to, and I was really proud of that. And I don't think, like I said, I don't think she's going to be wanting for work anytime soon. A lot of these allegations are politically motivated attacks. Yeah, I can see that. If ever out this way, should hit up J-Dubs. Oh my God. Or Deschutes Junction. Okay, which way? What way? Oh, I have a couple LMAO. A couple memes, I'm guessing. Anyways, so let me see here. I had a few other things I wanted to tell you guys, but I got lost in my stories. So we talked about why this trial is important. We talked about stories of those that have been through this, like Johnny Depp. We talked about how we can't believe all women. We need to believe all victims, but with doing our due diligence. We can't continue to make people guilty before innocent anymore. We can't continue to do that. We talked about Amber Heard's. I really would like to hear your guys' opinion on the difference between Amber Heard's reaction, her quick reaction, her immediate reaction to this verdict versus Johnny Depp's reaction. To me, Johnny Depp's read like a victim who has been struggling for a long time, who obviously all he needed was to be able to have his time to get the truth out. All he needed was to have his moment to tell the real story, even if some of it made him look like kind of a bad guy, even if some of it made it look like he struggled. He still told the story, because even though some of his dirty secrets came out, it still exonerated him from this awful allegations that were obviously not true. And if you talk to anyone, oh my gosh, Joel made that the other day. It's such a perfect little meme. If you love it, go onto our Facebook and share this, because that was personally made by Joel from Backwoods Brothers, and it's hilarious. And I lost my train of thought. Thank you, Joel. But yeah, we have to go back to innocent before guilty. We have to stop trying to attack men. Or, you know what? Not just men. Stop trying to attack anyone that you feel is privileged or higher than you or richer than you or better than you. Instead of trying to bring people down, why don't you try to bring yourself up to that level? Because then everybody wins instead of everybody losing, because nobody won by putting their crap out in front of the world. Oh, that's what I was saying. Johnny Depp knew that this trial would bring out all the dirt, but he also knew that those allegations would be proven false, and that was more important to him. The truth was more important to him. Whereas Amber Heard continues, even though she was caught in lie after lie after lie after lie, she still continues to push it and to claim she has a mountain of evidence. Her evidence was not backed up. We had the doctor that came on and decided he was going to diagnose Johnny with narcissistic personality disorder, or whatever he claimed it was, from watching his movies. That is not reality, people. That is not a real... You can't diagnose someone that way. You had the other doctor who did all the wrong tests on Amber, and then the other doctor that had done the right test come out to disprove that. You had pictures proving that the picture she took of her black eye, or her rosy little space here, was doctored, because there were two pictures that were the same. One of them you couldn't really see any injury, or it was very light, and the other one looked even stronger, like she claimed it was the next day, but the metadata showed it was the same day. You had the picture of her the very day after she went to the courthouse, and she's hanging out with her friend. She's claiming she's wearing makeup. Now, women, we know this. She was not wearing makeup. And she's laughing away with her friend Rocky when they conspired to do all this. You have TMZ, a former employee of TMZ who was in charge of this, sending out investigators, sending out photographers or videographers to get this information from the courthouse when she went to the courthouse. And wouldn't you know it, he says on the stand that if they receive video or audio or things of that nature from a source that is not vetted, then they have to vet it, and it takes a lot of time. But when they do receive it from the source that owns it, and they can slap a copyright on it, it's out in 15 minutes. Now, interesting, it was out immediately in 15 minutes. What conclusion can you come to with that? That Amber Heard directly, or someone with her that has the copyright, which would be Amber Heard who took it, sent it directly to TMZ. This is why Johnny won this case. Somebody says, I agree with you on that, Brandy Lickey. Brandy, Kaylin Stewart, Brandy was Josh's ex. Oh, yes. You are absolutely right about that. She is an Amber Heard. Money doesn't make people rich. It's the lives you choose to have around us that make us rich. I 100% agree with that. And we are very blessed in our lives. We have amazing people surrounding us. Her bruise makeup, which she disclosed. Oh, but to her lawyer, she has many faces. Yes, that's another thing that they talked about was her bruise kit. So even Amber Heard told on herself on the stand, you guys. She talks about how she would put on makeup to cover her bruises from Johnny. First of all, any woman knows this. You do not put foundation on, then concealer, then the stuff to cover up the bruise, the color correction. Oh no, you put color correction, then concealer, then foundation. So for one, she didn't even know the order of the makeup she was putting on because she's probably had people to do it for her whole life. Second of all, because she's claiming, this is her claim, is that she was covering up bruises before she had her makeup artist do her makeup so that no one would know about the bruises. That's why her makeup artist couldn't corroborate her story. But then again, she got the order completely wrong. If you try to put foundation, then concealer, then color correction on, you're going to look like a freaking clown. And it's not going to go together. She also called the kit she used, her bruise kit, a theater kit, and then she covered it up by saying her color correction kit, but she calls it her bruise kit. Yeah, look at that face. I mean, I can't even make that face, you guys. But if you look up bruise kit, there's actual theater bruise kits that you can get that will actually help you make a bruise on your face look real. So there's so many things in this case that she just really effed up on. And it's like, it was comical how much she believed her lies. And this is the danger of these people that are like this. People that we've known in our lives that are like this. That's the danger. They believe themselves. They start to believe their own lies. And they can be very, very convincing. But there is evidence. If you've been in a relationship, okay, and you've been abused, you need to do something. If you're being abused, call the police, do something. Yes, it is dangerous to get out, but make a plan to get out. And I am not victim blaming or telling anyone that if you don't have police reports, you don't have evidence. But I'm urging you, if you are in that kind of relationship, reach out to those who care about you. Tell people. Make a plan to get out. Now, Amber Heard, she claims that things happened that didn't. She has nothing to back it up. She has even when the police did come when she called, they claimed there was absolutely no evidence of any kind of damage or anything happening, and her face was clear, and her body did not look beaten up. So there's a lot of things. And also she made claims of a broken nose, of black eyes. Now, black eyes you can kind of tend to, but a broken nose, you can't just let it go. You have to go get seen for that. There's no medical records of that, you guys. There would be medical records of that. There's differences here. Also, his supermodel ex-girlfriend really helped this case too. She really hung herself on that one, LOL. Yes, okay, so the Kate Moss story. So before this trial, Johnny Depp and his team were told they could not bring in exes. They couldn't talk about Tajah Henry, the ex that Amber Heard supposedly beat up. They could not bring in his exes to help his case. But then when Amber Heard was on the stand, she's talking about the staircase story, which, by the way, there's about 15 different versions of the story. Only one of them is Johnny being the aggressor. The other ones is Amber Heard trying to hurt Johnny. Just so you know, look it up. Look into it. Whitney's first story was that she ran away from there because she was worried Amber was going to kill Johnny. Anyways, back to that. She's telling this staircase story, and she goes, all I could think of was Kate Moss on the stairs, and I had to step in and protect my sister. Well, guess what? That opened the door. If she had never said that, this case could have gone completely differently. I mean, you never know. But that opened the door. You see Johnny Depp's lawyers just, yes, excited, super happy, because they immediately got Kate Moss to speak up. Live on freaking camera, Kate Moss came in and said, absolutely not. Not only did he never push me down the stairs, but the accident I had was because of rain. I fell. Not only is he not a bad guy, he's a great guy because he ran to my aid and he got me medical attention and he took care of me. And then it also opened the door for them to bring up Tajian Ree, which in this situation, Amber can deny all she wants. She can claim it's a misogynistic, all she wants. But it was in an airport, 2 officers see Amber manhandling her girlfriend or wife at the time and arrest her for domestic violence. And she claims that it was misogyny because they didn't like that 2 women were together. Those 2 things were huge in this trial, made a big difference, and I'm so glad she opened her big old mouth. Dude, she demanded she gets $200,000 of my brother's life insurance for herself. Oh, this is Kaylin. Then the kids only get a smaller portion of the insurance. That's stupid, man. What is up with these women? I swear, we're dealing with someone like that and someone we know's life right now, and she's awful. She's sickening. Someone said, oh yeah, and she blamed the ex like she blamed the dog when she hit Johnny. Exactly. I'm so happy that Kate came on the video surveillance. Yes, me too. Someone goes, wait, she was a lesbian? I think she's bisexual, but she has been in female-female relationships before. I told him to bend over and moon her, and that's all she deserves. Yeah, that sounds about right. Like I said, you guys, we have to get back to innocence before guilt. There's a ton of stuff on this trial. If you haven't looked into it because you felt like, oh, not another celebrity thing, it's distracting us. Yes, the Durham case is really important, but it's a federal case, and it's not streamed live like this one was. So do some research on that. There's a lot of stuff coming out in that case. I urge you to look into it. But this case specifically is very important, not because of who's in it, but because of what it represents. That men are not always the bad guy, and women are not always innocent. And we need to get back to believing that victims should be heard, but also those accused have a right to prove their innocence before they're destroyed completely. And I urge anyone going through that, if you're being falsely accused and you're dealing with an Amber Heard type per se, please fight back. Don't run away from it because it's going to make you look guilty. Don't hide. Reach out to those people that love you, because if you are falsely accused, that must mean you're a pretty decent person and you probably have a lot of people that love you and support you. So keep fighting back and lean into those people that support you, just like Johnny Depp did, and you will come out on top in the end. So we have one last little thing to show you. And when I was watching this and realizing just how much Johnny Depp had been through, it pissed me off completely. It made me so mad that I wanted to run off and get myself some pissed off Patriot gear. If you are pissed off and you're a Patriot, you should check out our Pop Squad gear. Here's a video. Okay, guys, so thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate all of you. We love all of you. Please check out all of our posts that we make throughout the week. We had one go kind of viral. It was pretty awesome. I'm being told to look at the comments, but I don't have any new ones. So I think I went through them all. If you do have any more questions or comments, send them right now, and I'll read them as quickly as I can. Please check out our Facebook, our website, backwoodsbrothers.com. Check out our YouTube. Share it all. Send it to everything. Oh, someone said exactly. I agree 110%. I think while yes is a distraction, this is also important. And Hillary made up the Russia hoax. And why hasn't any of the pedos been outed by Miss Maxwell? Yes, I agree. And I love you too. I love you too. So again, check out all our stuff. It really helps us. This has been a passion project for a long time. We'd like to see some of it come back around. So if you could share, check out our merchandise. I still have a free sign to give away to the first person who orders a new piece of merchandise. And again, I'd like to end it with this. Victims should be believed. If you're a victim, reach out. At the same time, we need to stop demonizing everyone who's accused, because clearly Oh, we had someone order something. So whoever that is getting a free sign. So good for you. If you're accused and falsely, fight it. Don't run away. Because like Johnny Depp said, truth never perishes. The truth will always come out. And with that, I say good night. Have a great week. And we'll see you guys next week. And don't be mad if I'm not sitting straight because I'm having a back procedure on Tuesday. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I can sit here and do this. One more comment says, first time listener, I enjoyed the show. Thanks, Kelly, for telling me about this. Jacqueline Robinson, first time listener. Awesome. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. I usually talk a lot about kids and how certain things are affecting our kids. So please come back next week. I'd love to see you. And everybody else, we love you. And we'll see you next week. Bye.